And then there were none. That's it for me. This is a complete wrap on the MVS collection, and what a weird feeling. And it's even a stranger video to be doing, honestly. The final MVS cart that I needed was Real Bout Fatal Fury, and it is now in hand, shock boxed, and on the shelf. MVS collection complete. And before I go any further, I need to give a special thanks to Will at retrohacks.net. By a stroke of pure luck, Will had this cart. He messaged me and said that I could have it if I wanted it. And of course I do. Of course I want it. It is the final piece of the Neo Geo ridiculousness that has consumed part of my life. I know I've mentioned Will's site in the past, but the guy does great mod work and has done a number of things for me in the past. He fixed a top loader for me, installed the high-def NES kit in another console, installed the Ultra HDMI in my N64, repaired a Midway Open Ice PCB, and of course, cleaned up the black goop and recapped my Blast City Nanal chassis. All this to say, I trust Will and the work that he does. He is super transparent about everything he's doing, and his prices are really fair. If you need anything done, definitely contact him via his website. Okay, so it's funny, and I think I can share this with you guys because most people watching this probably know my quirks by now, and I suspect some of you have some similar thoughts, but when Will said he had the Real Bout Fatal Fury, my first question after I said thank you was, does it have an English label? How does the label look? Is it in good shape? I mean, here's a guy trying to give me something to finish off a collection, and I'm coming up with qualifiers for something for free. And I think Will definitely knew where I was coming from, and I didn't want to take it from him if it didn't match the other cards in the collection. So in hindsight, it's just kind of funny and also a little embarrassing, but I'm owning that sickness right now by disclosing that, and really, I really am thankful for this card. As you can see, the label is fully intact and looks pretty good overall. It does have that white line crease through the center that is pretty common on a lot of MVS cards. That's simply from opening the shell, presumably from somebody who wanted to check the boards for authenticity at some point. Doing my lazy man's haphazard check, I can see that 4 of the chips on the program board are legit, and well, that's good enough for me. Obviously, if you're buying an expensive cart, you're going to want to be a little more diligent than this and ask for pics of the boards so you can compare them to mvsscans.com. I always like to run the game through the CRC check in the Unibios as well, so doing that yields good results. This doesn't necessarily mean your chips are genuine though, but it does verify that they CRC check against originals. For example, if you're doing a repair or even a repro cart, you should be able to get the all clear here if you've done things correctly. I'm going to shoot you 100% straight here because, well, I don't ever bullshit you guys. I don't know this game very well. At all, really. The game came out in 1995, and although it looks pretty good with its large sprites, there are only 3 attack buttons, with D making your character shift between the foreground and background. I'm sure there are no doubt combo strategies to this that I haven't even scraped the surface of yet, but it's pretty tempting to button mash given you only have a punch, kick, and a power attack. And hey, I told you there's no BS here, so cut me a break, I was being honest. Anyways, I looked it up and it seems this one received generally positive reviews, so first impressions aren't always everything, what do I know? The important thing here really is that this game represents a milestone in the Neo Geo collection for me. It checks that last box needed and brings the hunt for carts to an end. I think it would be easy to think of this as the closing of a chapter, and again, if I'm being honest, I did feel that way initially and it bummed me out. But I had some time to reflect on this for a few weeks, and really, with a full library now at hand, I am now also seeing the completion of the collection as the opening of a new door. As I just noted, I'm no pro at Fatal Fury, and likely I never will be. But with unfamiliar games like this now at my disposal, there are a lot of things left to discover in so many of these titles. In many ways, it's almost equally daunting to consider unlocking all there is to know about each of these games as it was to collect them all. But I also think that that's kind of the beauty in this. It's not really a task or a chore or even remotely necessary. The Neo Geo collection is here for my exploring at my leisure as I have time. The console that I could never own as a kid and the games that I never had nearly enough quarters for are all here, every last one of them. It's been 30 years of waiting, but it's finally time to enjoy everything the Neo Geo has to offer in its purest form. A new chapter begins.